My girlfriend said, "We're not serious until we have a joint bank account." I replied, "You're right, it's time." Then I transferred my $80,000 in student loan debt to be paid from that account. The bank's first call to her left her speechless. I, 31 male, am a pharmacist. It's a job that required a lot of school and left me with a debt that feels like a mountain. We're talking $80,000, a number I've been completely, painfully transparent about since day one. My girlfriend, Maya, 29, and I have been together for 3 years, living together in my place for the last one. Things were okay, or so I thought. But for the last 6 months, there's been this mounting pressure, not about marriage, but about seriousness. And for Maya, seriousness had a very specific definition: a joint bank account. "Leo, it's not that I don't trust you," she'd say, stirring her coffee. "It's that I don't feel like we're a team. My sister Zara says that if a man won't join his finances, he's not planning a future." Zara is her older sister, a self-proclaimed financial consultant who, as far as I can tell, mostly just resells expensive water filters. I'd always pushed back. "Maya, my finances are joined to a massive student loan. I'm digging my way out. We split rent, we split utilities. Why do we need to mix everything else right now?" Her response was always the same, a perfect practice dismissal. "That's the point, Leo. It's always your loan, your debt. It shouldn't be our problem. But we can't move forward if you're keeping our money separate from your problem." The logic was dizzying. She wanted access to my income, but wanted to pretend my debt didn't exist. Last Tuesday, she dropped the ultimatum. "I can't do this anymore," she said, her voice shaking with what I now recognize as strategic emotion. "I feel like a temporary girlfriend. I need us to be a real partnership. A joint account, Leo. It's the only way I'll know you're actually in this. If you can't do that, I don't think I can stay." I looked at her. Really looked at her. All the little comments, the way she'd eye a new handbag, the jokes about how I should be making more, it all just clicked into place. I let out a long sigh. "You're right." Her face lit up. "Really?" "Yeah, you're right. It's time. We should be a team, all in." The next day, we went to a new neutral bank. We sat with a nice woman who explained the features of their premium joint checking. We both got debit cards. We set up the online portal. It felt official. "So how do we do this?" Maya asked, beaming. "We both deposit half our paychecks." "Let's start simpler," I said. "Let's both transfer $1,000 in right now, just to get it started. We can set up direct deposit next week." "Perfect." She did hers from her phone. I did mine. We watched the balance pop up, $2,000. "See?" she said, kissing my cheek. "We're a team." That night, I logged into my computer. Not the new bank account, but the grim gray portal for my student loan provider. I'd been paying $950 a month, every month for 4 years. I navigated to payment methods. I added a new bank account. The joint one. I set it as the primary payment account. My next scheduled payment was in 3 days. I felt a little knot of dread in my stomach, but I just thought about her words. It shouldn't be our problem. I closed the laptop. "Okay, team. Let's see how we handle our problem." I honestly thought the payment would just go through. My $1,000 was in there, her $1,000 was in there. The $950 payment would draw, we'd have $1,050 left, and then we'd have a very serious, very team conversation about how we're going to budget for our $950 monthly bill. That's what I thought. What I didn't account for was Maya's definition of team money. 2 days later, the day before the loan payment was due, she went shopping with Zara. I got home from a long shift and she was preening in the mirror with a new handbag. It was a brand I recognized, one she'd been sighing over for months. A brand that costs about $1,200. "Like it?" she'd asked. "It's nice, Maya. How did you?" "With our money," she said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I figured we're a team now, time to celebrate. I just stared at her. My $1,000 plus her $1,000, $2,000. $2,000 minus $1,200 equals $800. The payment was for $950. I didn't say a word. I just nodded. "It looks great on you." The next morning I was making coffee. My phone buzzed. It was the bank. I silenced it. A few seconds later I heard her phone ring in the bedroom. "Hello? Yes, this is Maya." "What? No, that can't be right." "Non-sufficient what?" "A payment for what?" $900 and I don't have a loan for that amount. Navient Solutions? I've never even heard of them. A student loan? No, that's my boyfriend's loan. Why would you? What? Overdrawn? How is it overdrawn? Wait. Leo. I just took a long, slow sip of my coffee. She burst out of the bedroom, her face pale and blotchy. Her phone was clutched in her hand. Leo, the bank just called. They said we're overdrawn. They said we have a $150 negative balance and a $35 bank fee. They said my credit is, what did you do? Me? I asked, keeping my voice level. I didn't do anything. Our scheduled payment came out. Your loan payment? You put your loan on our account? Of course, I said, leaning against the counter. It's our problem now, remember? We're a team. You wanted us to be all in. This is my biggest financial fact. Welcome to the team. But, it's overdrawn how? I don't know, Maya. We put $2,000 in there. The payment was $950. Should have been $1,050 left. Unless, did you buy something? Her eyes went wide. She looked at the $1,200 handbag on the dresser. That was from our money. Exactly, I said. You spent $1,200 of our money. That left $800. The $950 payment tried to come out. It couldn't. So now we are overdrawn by $150. We have a $35 NSF fee, and we are getting calls from the bank, and I assume our credit is about to take a hit. My credit? The words came out as a squeak. It's a joint account, Maya. That's what joint means. Everything you do affects me. Everything I do affects you. We're a team. She just stood there, speechless, phone in hand. The bank's first call had indeed left her speechless. She didn't stay that way for long. Update 1. It's been about 2 weeks since the call. I'm writing this from a hotel, by the way. Not because I got kicked out, but because I can't stand to be in the apartment. More on that later. So after Maya's initial speechless phase, which lasted about 30 seconds, the screaming phase began. It was impressive, and it summoned her sister. Within an hour, Zara was at our door, looking like she was about to exorcise a demon. Maya was sobbing on the couch, pointing at me. Zara, Leo, what did you do to her? She's hysterical. Maya said you've trapped her in a financial nightmare. Me, I did exactly what she asked. We opened a joint account to be a team. I linked my primary financial obligation to it. I don't see the problem. Lifting her head, he's trying to ruin my credit. He's a monster. You can't just attach your debt to her. That's illegal. It's financial abuse. Actually, it's not. The loan is 100% in my name. It always will be. But the payment is linked to our joint account. The account she demanded. The account she overdrew by buying a $1,200 purse. This stopped Zara. She turned to Maya. You bought the purse before the bills were paid? Maya, it was our money. I was celebrating. How was I supposed to know he had a $950 bill coming out? I've only been talking about my $950 monthly loan payment for, the entire 3 years you've known me. It's the reason we haven't been to Europe. It's the reason I drive a 10-year-old car. You just chose not to hear it. Zara's righteous anger mode flickered and rebooted into damage control mode. Okay, fine. This was a mistake. A big, stupid misunderstanding. Leo, you need to fix this. Now, you call that loan company, you take this account off, and you pay Maya back. Pay her back for what? For the purse, obviously. And for the bank fees. And for the emotional distress. You terrified her. I almost laughed. Let me get this straight. You want me to pay her for the $1,200 purse she bought with my money, which caused the account to overdraw? No, absolutely not. Here's what's going to happen. We, as a team, need to deposit $185 into that account today to bring it back to zero. Then we need to figure out how we're going to make the $950 payment that is now late. I'm not paying for your stupid loan. You tricked me. I agreed to your terms. You wanted all in. This is all in. You don't get to just be all in on my paycheck, but all out on my debt. That's not a team, Maya. That's a parasite. That was not the right word to use. The screaming redoubled. They both stormed out, threatening to call a lawyer, the police, and my mother. So I packed a bag and left. I went to a hotel. I needed space to think. And then the dirty tricks started. First, I got an email from my apartment leasing office. A formal complaint. Apparently, a concerned neighbor, who definitely sounds like Zara, reported loud, aggressive arguments and possible illegal pharmaceutical activity coming from my unit. They wanted to schedule an inspection. Pharmaceutical activity? Because I'm a pharmacist. Real clever. I had to call my landlord and explain that my girlfriend and I had a loud breakup and she was making false reports. He sounded annoyed but understood. Second, Maya called my boss, at the pharmacy, on the main line. She told my supervising manager, Carol, that I was suffering a severe mental health crisis and that I was financially compromised and might not be fit to dispense medication. I was called into the office. Carol looked concerned. "Leo, what is going on? Your girlfriend called. She sounded very worried, said you're acting erratically." My blood ran cold. This was an escalation I didn't anticipate. Me, "Carol, I am so sorry. We broke up. It's messy. She's lashing out. I am fine. I promise you, my work is not affected." She mentioned you trapped her with a bank account. She demanded a joint account. I linked my student loan payment to it. She overdrew it buying a purse. Now she's angry. That's the entire story. I'm not having a crisis. I'm just dealing with a breakup. Carol knows me. She knows my work. She sighed. "Okay, Leo, I'm putting a note on this conversation, but please keep the drama out of the workplace. This is a serious allegation," she made. I was shaking with rage. She tried to mess with my job, my license, my response. It had to be methodical. I went back to the apartment. They weren't there. I packed all of her things, every last blouse, every makeup palette, every one of her sister's stupid water filters. I put them in boxes. Then I went to the bank, our bank. I walked up to the teller. "Hi, I need to talk to someone about this joint account. It's currently overdrawn." The manager, a guy named Mr. Davies, pulled me into his office. He looked tired. "Mr. My last name. We've been trying to reach you. And miss, the account is negative $185. Me. "I know. Here's $185. I pushed the cash across the desk. "That brings it to zero." "Okay, great. Now about closing the account. I don't want to close it. I'm sorry. I want to deposit money into it, and I want to set up an alert." I pulled out my own personal debit card. "I want to deposit exactly $1. And I want an alert sent to both account holders for any transaction, withdrawal, or deposit over 50 cents. "We can do that, so the balance will be $1? Me. $1, and I'm not consenting to close the account. Not until my ex-partner and I have a formal written agreement. As far as I'm concerned, it's an active account, and we are both responsible for it. Good day." I walked out. Now that overdrawn mark is on her credit, and my $950 loan payment is still late. The loan company is now calling me, and they're also calling her because the payment from the joint account failed. I paid them $950 from my personal account. I am not going to default on my loan. But the next $950 payment is scheduled in 28 days, and it is pointed right back that joint account. The account that now has $1 in it. I texted Maya one thing. "Got your stuff boxed. Your attempt to mess with my job was a big mistake. The next loan payment of $950 is scheduled to pull from our team account in 28 days. I suggest you start budgeting for it." "What?" "Come get your boxes and sign a document I'm having prepared." I'm now back at the hotel. My phone is blowing up with texts from her, Zara, and now her mother. Apparently, I'm a sociopath who is holding her property hostage and committing financial terrorism. My response? I sent them the number of a storage unit. "Your things will be here. $50 a month. The key is under my lawyer's name. You can have it when you sign." Update 2. It's been a month. The dust is, well, it's not settled. It's just turned into a different kind of storm. A really pathetic, whiny storm. The storage unit was a good move. The hotel was costing a fortune. I'm back in my apartment. It's quiet. I had the locks changed, just in case. So, the harassment from Maya, Zara, and their mother, let's call her Karen 2.0, went from furious to desperate. The calls and texts were endless. They all followed the same script. "You're an evil, manipulative monster. You've ruined Maya's life. Her credit is shot because of that overdrawn account. Good. Actions have consequences. She needs her things. Just give her $5,000 and we'll make this all go away." The $5,000 demand was new. Zara's idea, no doubt. But the big dirty trick? The one that confirmed I was dealing with a special kind of entitled? They tried to get a wellness check on me. Not just one. 3. The first time, 2 police officers showed up at my door, 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. "Officer, sir, we received a call from a Ms. Zara, her last name, stating you were despondent and threatening self-harm over your breakup." My heart hammered, just like the call to my boss, trying to paint me as unstable. Me, "Officers, I am perfectly fine. My ex-girlfriend and her sister are harassing me. They are angry about a financial dispute. This is a false report. Here's my lawyer's card. Please, call him. He has a full file on their harassment." The cops looked at me, looked at my clean apartment, saw I was sober and coherent, and sighed. They hate this stuff. They left, but they had to file a report. They did it twice more. The third time, the same sergeant showed up. "Sergeant, son, she just called again, said you hadn't answered your phone in 24 hours, and she was worried. This is now harassment. We're going to pay Ms. Zara a visit and tell her the next call like this will be for filing a false report." Thank God for that, Sergeant. But my revenge, as you all keep calling it, wasn't about that. It was about the cold, hard logic of the situation she created. I hired a lawyer. A sharp, no-nonsense woman named Miss Alvarez. I didn't need a shark. I just needed a professional who speaks fluent consequences. She drafted the agreement. It was simple. 2 pages. Page 1 stated that Maya, her last name, and Leo, my last name, agree to mutually dissolve the joint bank account number. Page 2, the important part, stated that Maya acknowledges her unauthorized withdrawal of $1,200 from the joint account for personal use, the handbag. She acknowledges this withdrawal directly caused the account to enter a negative status and incur fees. In exchange for Leo releasing her from any further claims and paying to close the account, Maya agrees to a one-time repayment and release fee of $1,000. This payment was to be made to Miss Alvarez's trust account, not to me. Upon receipt of the $1,000 and her signature, Miss Alvarez would provide her with the key to the storage unit, and we would both sign the form to close the bank account forever. Why $1,000? It was less than the purse, but it covered my half of the initial deposit she'd torched. It was symbolic. The team account, by the way, was still active, with $1 in it, and the next $950 loan payment was scheduled to hit tomorrow. I didn't care if it did. I was paying my loan from my personal account. But that joint account? It was a ticking time bomb for her credit. Another $950 failed payment attempt, another $35 NSF fee, another collection notice. I sent the agreement to Maya, Zara, and her mother via email. Silence. For 48 hours. Then, the payment hit, or tried to. I got the alert, transaction declined. Account, amount, $950. Current balance, $34. About 10 minutes later, Miss Alvarez's office called me. "Mr. My last name? It's Jessica from Miss Alvarez's office. A Miss Maya, her last name is in our lobby. She seems very upset. She has a cashier's check for $1,000 and is asking to sign the paper." I authorized her to proceed. Maya showed up, alone this time. No Zara, no mom. According to Jessica, she was shaking, her eyes were red, and she just kept saying, "I just need my stuff. Please. I just need my stuff." She signed the agreement. She handed over the $1,000 check. Jessica handed her the storage unit key. Miss Alvarez and I went to the bank the next day. We paid the $34 fee using Maya's money and formally, finally, closed that cursed account. The fallout? Well, I'm out a $1,200 handbag I never saw, about $500 in lawyer fees, a few hundred in hotel and storage costs, and a lot of stress. I consider it the Maya tax. I heard through a mutual friend, who is now my friend, what happened. The second NSF notice and the hit to her credit made it impossible for her to apply for a new apartment. Her credit score, which she was so proud of, is apparently in the toilet. Zara's financial consulting, the water filters, wasn't paying enough for her own rent, let alone to support Maya. And her mom, after finding out the full story, including the call to my boss and the fake wellness checks, was furious at Maya. Maya had to get the $1,000 for my lawyer from her father. They're divorced, who was apparently not happy to hear how his daughter had behaved. Last I heard, Maya moved back in with her mom, temporarily. She had to sell the $1,200 handbag online, probably for a loss, to pay her dad back. I'm still here. In my quiet, peaceful apartment. I'm still paying my $80,000 loan. It's still $950 every month on the dot. It's my problem. and I'm perfectly happy to handle it alone.